It's Friday, November 27th, and this is Honest Faith. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I want to start off by saying I'm sorry that there hasn't been a video in such a long time. I've been traveling quite a bit. I was in Michigan for a couple of weeks. I was driving around to Louisiana within the past couple of weeks. There's one main event that I wanted to talk about today, and it's the Paris attacks. These were a horrible tragedy. This was, terrorism at its absolute worst. And I wanted to talk about the response that I've been seeing a lot on my news feeds and a lot on my Twitters and a lot on everything. A lot of people are saying that we need to close off our borders. A lot of people are saying that we need to protect ourselves. But the main thing that everyone seems to forget is that our real attacks don't always come from outside the country, they come from inside our country as well. I did a simple lookup on the history of terrorist attacks, and from 2010 until today, out of the 15 terrorist attacks that have succeeded, 10 of them were perpetrated by white American citizens. So you have 2/3 of terrorist attacks that happen in America are done by our own local homegrown citizens. So even if we were to close off our borders, we would still have infinitely more problems than just keeping out those we think are bad and those that we think are wrong. The other problem that I have is it's the whole squeaky wheel getting the attention thing. You have a few people, whether it be 5, 10, 20, 30 people that are committing these horrible atrocities and these horrible terrorist attacks, and you're going around painting every single person like that with one brush stroke saying, no, they're all a threat, they're all a danger, we need to stop. Not all white people are KKK members. Not all Christians are Westboro Baptist Church members. You can't classify everybody based on the actions of a few. When we start labeling everyone the same and we start closing off the border and we start giving into this fear, that is more of a victory for terrorism than if we were to just keep everything open and to keep getting attacked. They want us to be afraid. They want us to close off our borders. They want us to become this militant force and call us out on it and say, look, they are evil. Look, they are wrong. Look how they treat people. Look how they treat outsiders. Look how they treat exiles. It's this weird game of the more we're afraid, the more we give into it, then the more actual terrorism wins, as opposed to us continuing to be loving, continuing to be open, continuing to be outreaching to people. It's really funny that a lot of Christians are trying to use some type of biblical text or trying to use some type of reference for why we should be closing our borders. There was one article that my uncle posted that used this, the story of the Good Samaritan for how we're supposed to help people that are hurt. He said the Good Samaritan came and helped the Jew who was beaten on the ground, but he didn't take him into his home. What he did was he took him to someplace else and he paid for his care and he paid for him to get better, but he still kept himself safe. First of all, that's just a huge eisegesis, because that's not even what the whole point of the parable was. The whole point of the parable was, we have all these righteous, religious, political leaders in our society who won't help anybody, and yet it takes this kind person who most people think is this foreigner and this dangerous person who is helping the individual that has been hurt, that has been beaten up, has been robbed, or whatever. So eisegeting the idea that, oh, he decided to keep himself safe and put him in a hotel for them to take care of him, that's not even remotely close to what that story is trying to communicate to you. Secondly, if you're going to use that story as your point, then we as a country need to be paying another country to take care of all these refugees. We need to be paying somebody else to take care of all these people that are hurt, that are suffering, that are in pain, and that would still be better than just closing off borders or sinking boats, or like video footage has surfaced of Greek border patrol people sinking a boat full of like 50 plus refugees. They're trying to sink these people in the middle of the ocean. And I was argued against, like, well, what responsibility does Greece have to take care of these people? It's not that they have the responsibility as a country, it's that we have a responsibility to help people that are in need as a human race. As a species, we should be looking to take care of each other and helping each other. We should be having a heart to help take care of people that are in need. And if you're a Christian and you're really starting to post and put things about rejecting people, then you miss the point of why Jesus was here to help people. We sinners are dangerous. We're a threat because we make more sin. Wherever we go, there's more sin and there's more problems and there's more of a danger. But God still came here to help us. God still came here to save us. God still did the work that he needed to do to bring us home. And he's always interacting with us, and he's always working with us, and he's always doing everything he can to help us when we ask for it, and we pray for it, and when we follow his will. Biblically speaking, we're supposed to be loving our enemies, even if they are dangerous. And we're supposed to be praying for our enemies, even if they are dangerous. We're supposed to be this better person than the fear, than the anger. It says in Matthew 5, verses 43 to 48, "You've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you," and this is Jesus speaking, "love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons and daughters of your Father in heaven. For he causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends the rain on the righteous and unrighteous." We need to be a better people than the hating and then the fear-mongering and the divisiveness that people are turning into. It's an ugly shade of color to be fear. It's horrible when you post things about excluding other people, especially when you're in a country where everybody originally was an illegal immigrant and we killed and slaughtered everybody that was here. You know, we should learn our lessons and help, and we should learn our lessons and welcome those that are suffering and that are in pain. And if you're curious about what it takes to be a refugee in this country, and if you're curious as to what it takes to get through that process, I'll provide a couple links down below. I've already talked about this in a video for Trisha Hirschberger's Naked Truth series. I'll post a link here for it. I'll give an annotation a shot. You know, we need to stay strong and we need to stay on top of things. We can't let the fear and the fear of death make our hearts grow cold and make us grow unloving. My name's Colin, and this has been Honest Faith.